And we're back for another Lakers snack pack. It's Gerald Glassford along with the Magic Man in the Morning host. And I tell you what, Mr. Sean Grice deserves all the credit for gutting it out this morning. Hopefully, everyone out there is having a great weekend coming up because the Lakers are coming up Saturday with a all important game three. Blue Magic, we're holding up, kind of tired, not feeling the greatest, but you know what? It's going to get a lot better coming up on Saturday as we get more energy, more energized for a great game Saturday night as the Lakers host game three against the Memphis Grizzlies. Sean is truly a legend, absolutely gutting it out. He needs to know his energy secrets, absolutely. So do I. We'll go ahead and maybe talk about that a little bit. But Magic Man in the Morning host, Sean Grice, great to have you here, my friend. Wanted to ask you first when it comes to what we're talking about right now, the main source of commentary after game two, in between game three, seems to be the continual comments that were made by Dillon Brooks after the game on game two and how it's having this residual effect across social media about he's too old. I don't respect anyone until they drop 40 on me. If you look at the numbers, ESPN put out a tweet earlier today that says he is dominating LeBron James, the matchup on Dillon Brooks. So if I was Dillon Brooks, I wouldn't exactly want to get the old bear mad, so to speak. I think that was also referred to as well. But when it comes to what we're seeing with LeBron James, he just had a press conference earlier today. The Lakers media were able to go ahead and talk to him real quick. He kind of ended it short, but basically said he is tired of all the BS that Dillon Brooks and the Memphis Grizzlies are putting out, and he's just ready to play game three on Saturday.
Yeah, Gerald, he really is. It seems like Memphis wants to try and win this series through the media and through disinterested slash disparaging comments and tweets. And yeah, if you dig deep, like LeBron has shot 12 for 19 against Dillon Brooks this series. So that's, you're talking about somebody who's shooting well over 60% against you. And he's averaging a triple double against you as well. So I think with Dillon Brooks, he's writing checks that he's hoping guys around him to cash, because he can't cash the kind of smack talk that he's dishing out, Gerald. He really can't. His game is more like Stone was saying the other day. His game is a point attack defender, and if he can give you 12 to 15 points a game, then that's a really great Dillon Brooks performance. But he's not. It's not as if it's going to be a one-on-one situation here, which is what I think Dillon Brooks is trying to do. He's trying to bait LeBron into just going into volume shooting mode against him to distract away from his other teammates. I think it's foolish. LeBron's too smart to play these kinds of stupid games. So I happen to think that, when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I think Dillon Brooks is in for a stupid prize tomorrow.
I think that LeBron is motivated to play better in game three. I think that, the thing what it comes down to is that he shot well overall, but his 3 point percentage was absolutely abysmal. He shot way too many threes. When he was not feeling it, he's got to learn to lay off the three when he's not really feeling it from outside instead of becoming reliant on it and go more inside. You talked about points in the paint in earlier episode of the Magic Man in the Morning, and I actually corrected you as 50 to 50 was the thing, but you pointed out correctly and very astutely that that was through three quarters. It was the Grizzlies dominating in the paint inside. It was the Lakers coming back in the fourth quarter there, but when it comes down to it, the Lakers had to be more aggressive. They were matched free throws, which is something the Lakers shouldn't be doing. The Lakers need to be ahead in the free throw column because they cannot count consistently being better than the Grizzlies from behind the arc, because that's what we saw. The difference right there was that they matched points in the paint, they matched free throws, but the Lakers did fall 4 3-pointers short than what the Memphis Grizzlies were doing. And that's basically what the Memphis Grizzlies, how they won, was right there. But be that as it may, I think that LeBron has to be more aggressive driving to the basket, not worry about Triple J. If it means a block or two to get a couple fouls or two on Triple J, I think that's all the more better.
I agree, Gerald. I agree 100%. I think I would gladly trade a poster block for Triple J foul, 100%, and twice on Sunday. So I think that's motivation enough. You're right, Gerald. He needs to go back to the bread and butter of what makes his team successful on offense, and you've pointed out throughout the year when you have opportunities in transition to score easy points, you need to take advantage of them, especially with a team like Memphis who just loves to live between the two circles, running as fast as they can. So if you can match them in the paint for 3 quarters and then we get into the fourth and it tightens up, I really think it's a foreshadowing of how the Lakers can just take advantage of their strengths and put their stamp back on the series. So we're up 2-1.
By the way, Tears of Joy says it loves the energy that we bring, and Magic Man in the morning is a joy to watch. Absolutely, especially when you're gunning it out like you did this morning, my friend. Once again, it is the Lakers Snack Pack. It is Magic Man, Sean Grice, and Gerald Glassford here, bringing you a little bit of an update on what's going on with the Lakers for Game 3. Game 3, if you want to go ahead and check it out with us tomorrow night, it is playback.tv / Lakers Fast Break. And of course, the post game show right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Want to go ahead and ask you this, Magic Man. Some of the things that have got to be tweaked. I mean, yes, we do need to step out on Bain and Kennard primarily on those shooters, but also we got to find ways in which to not make Xavier Tillman so successful inside. He found really a lot of success on the Lakers inside. AD, I know it was something was talked about. A lot of people were talking about him playing Triple J a little bit more, like I had asked, and it not being to the, I guess, the strength that the Lakers were playing. But you pick your poison. Do you want Triple J to beat you, or do you want someone else? I am not banking on Xavier Tillman like a lot of people were not banking on Rui Hashimura to have 2 20-point games in a row. I'm not banking on Xavier Tillman to do the same thing twice.
I don't think so either, Gerald. I think that was a small crack that Taylor Jenkins found a way to take advantage of. Outside of Bain's efficiency, he's also improved dramatically as to where he can get his points on the floor. Um, Both him and Tyus Jones have loved that pull up J, Gerald, and it just seemed that we were falling into these traps where we didn't want to overcommit with drop coverage, but again, uh, because of that small little instance in defensive lapses with coverage, Tillman was able to go downhill and take advantage of it. I think the Lakers paint coverage and paint defense will be a lot more pristine and crisp rather than allowing someone like Tillman to take advantage of those mistakes.
One thing I did want to ask you in regards to another player who needs to step up tomorrow night is D'Angelo Russell. And D'Angelo Russell, as Daniel put it, sucked. He actually played awful on Wednesday's game, game 2. And since then, he's made some very curious comments about saying he is not a point guard, but a basketball player. So you can take that for what it's worth.
Hmm.
That's he says that's what his role on the team is that he's a basketball player of this team, not really a point guard. I don't know what to make of it, but for a player that is wanting to earn 30 million or may ask for up to 30 million dollars a year in the off season, which I don't think he deserves. Even if he steps up his game for the entire playoffs, I really don't think that he's worth it. But your thoughts on this, my friend? Really curious comments from D'Angelo Russell coming at a most inopportune time for the Lakers.
Absolutely, Gerald. Absolutely. A bit mercurial and somewhat cryptic remarks, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, um, well, if he's in a way saying, I'm not the lead guard in this offense, I can kind of see your point there. But he didn't really, like you said, Gerald. He really didn't expand on that answer, and maybe it was an opportunity there for whoever posed the question to uh, ask him a follow up about, can you clarify what you mean by that? Because when it comes to the offense right now, he can't be the lead guard. He's not producing um, at a level where you would want him as your lead guard or your point guard, so to speak. In 13 playoff games, he struggled to shoot over 50%, Gerald. And I think a lot of his mojo comes when he really is hitting those pull up threes.
Yep.
So I really think it'd be incumbent, and I would implore him, if I was his other teammates, just get open, man. Just move around the court, and we'll find you. Because whatever you're working on right now, when you're in against Kennard or you're in against Jones, it's really not working. So I really want to see D'Angelo Russell move without the ball to try and get himself going, Gerald, rather
And it,
than
and if he
take it.
plays Kennard like you talked about, he needs to step out just a couple steps more. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
If he's not going to play help defense, that's fine. Stay out on Kennard. Make sure you don't have, and if he gets the ball, make sure you make him drive. Simple as that.
yeah, exactly, Gerald. That's all you want from the guys out there. Put allow him to be an honest defender, and if Kennard wants to put it on the floor and try to
And
attack
same
the
thing,
paint,
Bane.
yeah, definitely, I can live with that. If they want to put the ball on the floor and try to attack in the paint with LeBron, Vando, and AD, go for it.
Yeah. Also here today, good man indeed. He is one of the great parts of our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break community. It is Nick Molina Jr. and LakerNic is here. LakerNic, great to have you back, my friend. I wanted to ask you this. We're talking about D'Angelo Russell. We talked about LeBron, and I'll let you run it back, your thoughts on LeBron here in a second. But when it comes to D'Angelo Russell, he had some very curious comments about on this team, he is not a point guard, but a basketball player. Your thoughts on if that's like LeBron cryptic style verbiage before game 3 and also before he heads out on free agency?
Yeah, Gerald, and it's great to be here. It's great to be with the Magic Man and be sharing this space with both of you. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of those comments by D'Lo, Gerald. I mean, they are very cryptic to say the least. I'm not sure if he's trying to say that he just doesn't, fit with this team in a point guard role, and he just doesn't feel like he has the leeway or the reins to really handle the offense here. Um, we know that LeBron, no matter which point guard is on his team, he effectively does turn into the de facto point guard as games wear on, and that could be a slight critique or dig or something to that effect against LeBron. That said, I mean, as others have mentioned both on the panel and in the chat, D'Lo's game has just declined or has not been the same since he came back from the injury. I'm not sure if he is fully healthy at this point. I know that the Magic Man and I had previously discussed the possibility of someone like Dennis actually starting in place of like then D'Lo. I'm not sure how you, Gerald, would feel about that. I'm not sure if I'm ready to make that drastic move at this point. But anyways, yeah, D'Lo definitely
I
needs to
wouldn't
step it
coming
up.
off of that bad performance by Schroeder. Not yet. Not yet, anyways.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Gerald. And aside from D'Lo, I mean, from the backcourt, I mean, in the last game, in game two, we saw Austin Reeves unfortunately kind of shrink under the limelight, and he
He was
couldn't
not him.
replicate. Yeah, he could not. He was not him, and he could not replicate. The effective performance he had in game one. So hopefully he's able to rekindle that for game three on Saturday, and LeBron, takes Dillon Brooks's fuel that he's added to the fire and, create something magical.
And that's something I wanted to touch on. Magic Man and I already commented on is the comments earlier today from LeBron. He's tired of the BS. He's tired of the old man, the bear stuff, and all the stuff that Dillon Brooks was dishing out after game 2 on Wednesday, and said he doesn't respect him until he drops 40 on him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The statistics on that ESPN sent out earlier today on a tweet shows that he is playing very well on Dillon Brooks. Is this something that we could see as one of the magic words on the, we say, pardon the pun, magic precursor for something we could see as a big LeBron performance in game 3 on Saturday?
Absolutely, Gerald. I mean, so far, it's been a playing game and 2 official playoff games, but we haven't yet actually seen a vintage classic, all out LeBron performance. And I think that LeBron is set to do that. I think he's up for it. I mean, in spite of his near 40 years of age, I think he could still have moments of brilliance and games that, he could recall the LeBron of a decade past. So I think all of that is very, very, very possible. And I'm hopeful that, Dillon Brooks's disparagement really motivates LeBron to go all out.
Daniel said LeBron poster on Brooks. If that happens and they make a poster of it, I'm posting it. I would be taking down one of those posters behind me and actually putting that up. I'm just going to say that right now. I'll
No,
say that and I'll stick to it and I'll buy it and I'll go ahead and
Uh,
I'll take care of that. If that's the case.
I'll definitely buy one as well, Gerald. And actually, Magic Man, since you're the resident historian here, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as Dillon Brooks's comments on LeBron, obviously commenting on his age and whatnot, I, although LeBron has had other players go at him throughout his career, I don't think I could remember another player, especially that much younger than LeBron, going at LeBron in the public eye as much as Dillon Brooks has. Am I right on that?
You know what? That's probably true. Uh, just based on volume, Nick. He did go back and forth with Deshaun Stevenson with the Wizards, but I mean we're
And then
talking
that's
about
the rap song.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was like 15 years ago though. But like
Lance
ever
Stevenson's was
present,
more on the court
it was more about trying to be just a pest. Yes, a blowing blowing
in the
sweet
year.
nothings into LeBron's ear. Yes, Joe. But yeah, no, you're right, Nick. Based on the volume of attention that the funny thing is, to me, Dillon Brooks is the one who has LeBron on the brain, not the other way around. I don't think LeBron thinks about Dillon Brooks in terms of this series, and I think
I think he's thinking more about Triple J. That's the
yes,
thing, because
yes,
he has not looked good
yes,
against Triple J.
yes, because at least with the Warriors and the Grizzlies, Klay Thompson referred to Triple J as a bum. He acknowledged Triple J's presence. He once said, "I don't think anybody will ever ask about Dillon Brooks after he retires." So
Yeah.
that was kind of a shot to the kisser. But I think that's true. I agree with Gerald. I think LeBron is more focused on how we maneuver Triple J out of an integral part of the Grizzlies defense rather than Dillon Brooks. And it's just the truth, Dylan. Sorry.
Two last things I want to cover that are NBA related before we head on out and get some final thoughts for you guys on game 3. We may actually do a snack pack tomorrow. We'll see as far as based on, it's or maybe during the afternoon. We'll see on that, but definitely going to go ahead for the post game. And of course, right here on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Nick, I want to ask you this, and I know Magic Man in Toronto is really going to be it's probably commenting on this, is that we found out today that Nick Nurse is no longer the coach in Toronto. Ime Udoka and other candidates are already being bandied around. Of course, the same candidates are also being bandied around in Houston and Detroit as well. Your thoughts on Nick Nurse being out so soon, about 2-3 years now, since the actually no, I'm sorry, it was before the Lakers bubble. So yeah, that Nick Nurse won. So it's been about 4 years now since Nick Nurse won the title for the Toronto Raptors. Maybe a little bit too soon, or have they had enough Nick Nurse?
I think it's too soon, Gerald. I think just drawing on our own experience as Laker fans and watching Darvin Ham's irregular performance, to say the least, throughout this season, I think we've come to really appreciate how difficult it is to find a good, stable NBA coach. You know, we know that the obviously the Toronto Raptors, they won the championship, and Nick Nurse was a rookie head coach. Granted, he had a roster that was very much NBA championship built, but nonetheless, I think Nick Nurse is obviously a competent NBA coach. I think he was a stable presence in the locker room, and I think it was, a bad call to let him go. But I don't think there's going to be a shortage of teams that are going to be calling Nick to, take the helm at whatever next team he may end up in.
Thing I want to ask you, Sean, on this, being in Toronto right now as this is happening, and it's so funny because Laker Nick pointed that out as well as far as what's going on with this whole thing. Because Nick Nurse will not lack for job opportunities, rest assured, because he has that pedigree. But the thing is, it is that pedigree. It's the fact he won a championship. Frank Vogel, who's now being considered, his name is now being dropped for some other of these jobs, including Houston. He's already been named for that as a possible candidate.
Hmm.
He has a title. Nick Nurse has a title. Job security doesn't come along with winning a title anymore, does it?
No, not at all, Gerald. Not at all, and not on the college level either, as we've seen with Kevin Ollie and Ed Ogeron. Um, Winning a title does not
Man,
mean
USC
you.
blew it at Ogeron. I'm just going to say that out loud.
Yeah, that's true. We digress, though.
Yes.
Conversation for another pod. But well
Yes.
said, Gerald. I agree. But yeah, there, like it is a different time. It used to be when a coach won a championship, he automatically got that 3 to 5 year extension, and there was going to be no real peeps about any kind of trouble with job security within at least 2 of those years. But as we've seen, Gerald, the pressure just ratchets up a little bit more when you do have that pedigree uh, as winning a title. It's now expected, or the expectations are thrusted upon you to be an expectation of winning a title. And you know what, Gerald? I think that someone like Nick Nurse, who's very adept at changing on the fly, using whatever techniques, tools he has in his belt to try and get his guys over the line. His tactical approach to in-game adjustments is top notch. But you know what, Gerald? Sometimes leadership styles are different with some guys, and I just might me personally through watching not just other NBA teams but the Lakers, it just seems that oftentimes a voice doesn't have the same kind of respect uh, after around 4 or 5 years than it did when the coach first got there. And I think some young people, especially young guys, if they're not down with what the philosophy is and what the coach is trying to preach, they'll just tune them out. And we've seen it, Gerald. If you have a mutiny on your hands in a locker room, it doesn't end well for the coach. They're usually the ones who go to the gallows, not the players.
One thing I want to ask you, Nick, is the Sixth Man of the Year award was announced. Malcolm Brogdon won it from Boston. Do you think he earned it? I had him second behind Emmanuel Quickly personally. Your thoughts on Sixth Man of the Year award for the NBA?
Um, yeah, Gerald, I actually also had Emmanuel quickly as taking it. Malcolm Brogdon, though, he's a steady player. I think he's a good fit off the bench for that team. And, ultimately, I think it was a decent choice, although I would have gone for Emmanuel quickly. I think Magic Man also had IQ 5 on his list. So, yeah, for us, I mean, I think Emmanuel was robbed.
Magic Man, your thoughts on this? We've talked about this before for Sixth Man of the Year. We were thinking Emmanuel quickly,
Yep.
but Malcolm Brogdon, I think from the Boston East Coast bias and with the reporters there, I think that's why he won.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Gerald. 100%. Both equal, both equally good seasons. However, I will say this: the Knicks needed IQ to start a few games, and so traditionally, a lot of like Boston fans will say, "Oh, well, Quickly doesn't exactly deserve the sixth man because, well, no, he does because a true six man is able to." Come into the starting lineup when it's required and go back to the bench when everybody's at full health. Lamar played a number of games as a starter the year he won sixth man. Manu Ginobili has done it. So yes, Gerald, I agree with you. I think this is East Coast Boston bias with Bob Ryan, Jackie McMullen, Dan Shaughnessy, and the rest of the Beantown bunch, um, kind of conglomerating their power and putting Brogdon over the finish line. I had IQ first and Brogdon second.
As did I, my friend. I think most everybody on the panel also had the same thing as well. But before we head on out, Nick, I want to go ahead and bring it back to you, my friend, real quick. When it comes to tonight's games, any thoughts? Adam's asking for upsets. He actually already has the Atlanta Hawks winning in game 3. And if they don't win game 3, that series is over. But Boston has dominated the first 2 games. I don't see a victory for Atlanta personally. But I do see a possible upset with Cleveland in as far as the Madison Square Garden, MSG. I think we'll see a possible victory for Cleveland tonight if New York is not careful. But I do think there will be an upset for Minnesota tonight against Denver.
Yeah, well, Gerald, obviously being Laker fans, I would love to see the Boston Celtics lose tonight, but unfortunately, I think Boston is probably going to sweep that series. I do think that the Knicks could possibly beat the Cavaliers,
I
and
think that's going to be close either which way.
yeah, it's a close one, and Gerald, yeah, I mean the Denver Minnesota series. I mean, it could get interesting. Unfortunately, I actually see Denver beating them. I don't know. I just don't see Minnesota, especially I don't know. I just don't see them having the chemistry to beat Denver. But anything could happen.
Well, that's very astute of you as well. I just don't know if we're going to get 2 straight 40+ games, from Murray, which is what they needed to go ahead and win that last game. Was a great performance from him. He says he's back. He's better than ever. Things are great looking for up for him. So we'll see what happens with Murray if he's going to continue to be more than just bubble Murray. And we saw the explosive game from him, like we haven't seen before the knee injury. So we'll see from there. But Magic Man, any comments on tonight's game? MSG is going to be rocking first playoff game of any consequence in front of a home crowd in 10+ years, my friend.
Yes, Gerald, it's going to be loud, like extremely loud. I know the Cavs have some guys with playoff experience, but for the most part, none of these dudes have ever been in a barn that's going to be this loud. And as well as I do, Gerald, a young team, fresh off a big win. The sparks might be flying, but you got to have that organ in between your ears working faster than your legs right now, because that's what the Knicks want you to do. They want you to come out, get discombobulated in transition, and you can't leave Jalen Brunson any room where he thinks he can provide his team with oxygen, Gerald. So I, I'm with you. I expect a really close game again. Hopefully, we get more of a balanced game from game 2 rather than what we saw in game 1, which was a throwback to the 1996 Knicks and Indiana Pacers, where bodies are just flying all over the place.
No, that's in
Hopefully,
Brooklyn.
yes. Yeah. That would touche. Yes. So I'm hoping for a good game there. And I'm with you, Gerald. Jamal Murray has really stepped up his game in the playoffs. A third better as a scorer. He's a better facilitator. He's averaging more rebounds in the playoffs. So he's really putting forth his best effort when the games are on the line. I don't know what to make of the Minnesota Timberwolves at this point, ladies and gentlemen. I think we saw the best of both worlds from them in the playing game where they tried their hardest to defeat the Lakers and it just didn't happen. Gerald, I'm interested. Do you think possibly this might be the last couple games we see where there's a pairing between Rudy Gobert and Cat?
This could be a possibility because then if they go out in 4 games, I think they'll explore those possibilities when it comes to Cat. But we'll see what happens tonight. Some great games on tap. Looking forward to it. LakerNic, can you provide me some final thoughts, my friend, on the Lakers? I do want to mention that that came up already on Twitter. Ramona Shelburne reported that John Morant was a full participant in practice today. He's listed as questionable. I expect him to play in Game 3 unless I hear otherwise. We'll report it though on @Lakers Fast Break on Twitter. Any thoughts on the Lakers in Game 3 before we head on out?
Yeah, Gerald. Just very quickly, as I mentioned earlier, we need Austin Reeves to have a better game than he did in Game 2, and absolutely Anthony Davis needs to have more than 4 made shots. I think he went 4 for 14 in the last game, and he just can't be that inefficient. And to close it off, obviously, big shout outs just to the Lakers Fast Break. I just saw that you guys are closing in on 600 subscribers. Sean, I know that you've been doing a lot of legwork recently, so big shout outs to you and Gerald for steering the ship.
Thank you, Nick. You're awesome as always. We love having you on our shows and also on our playback. You give such great insight. It's like, Sean, I think it's like Nick is like the balance. He's like the Zen between, you got Joe doing his ranting and his raving. You got you with your storytelling, and sometimes you want to be like Joe and go ranting and raving. Me, I go screaming with my high voice everywhere and just say, all of those crazy things that I do. And then you have Stone with the deep analysis, and you have Laker Tom with the extreme positivity, no matter what the situation is. And then you have Laker Nick right there as the balanced between everybody right there.
A
What do you think?
100%. I agree, Gerald. I agree. I'm not sure whether it's just Nick's just regular persona or whether he's worked on it through trial and error. But yeah, Nick is like this, ladies and gentlemen. He is
Absolutely.
so even keeled. I've never heard Nick raise his voice like in terms of like excitement or agony at all as a fan. He's just very even keeled, and yeah, it's a perfect compliment to what we got going on. I agree.
Absolutely. So make sure you check out playback.tv Lakers Fast Break. Nick, PMC, that's always up to him. No guarantees on that. I just so glad to have his voice here. If he doesn't want to show his face, that's okay. We were always hoping that Joe Sorrell wouldn't show his face, and just he did anyway. So, the show's still getting the subs and the subscribers. So we're good on that one. So, yep, absolutely. See
Look,
what?
he does it on playbook, and we can't
He
see his face,
yeah,
but he can see ours. It's kind of
yes.
he
Oh, you
kind of
mean
has a
Joe? Absolutely.
yes,
And we
yeah.
can hear Joe. That's because
We
he's
can
at
hear
some
Joe.
usually kids. Yeah, on the weekends he's always at some kids party.
Yeah, for some reason, he's
Yeah,
always at a child's party when we're watching a game on a Saturday or
yeah.
Sunday.
So Nick, don't worry about it, my friend. We just always love having you here. PMC, don't worry about PMC. I'm not. We just want you back on the show constantly, my friend. Whether or not you want to show your face, no worries. I mean, we allow Joe to show his face. That's up to him as well. So
Yeah, and big shout outs to PMC. I've noticed that they've been in the chat for a very long time.
Oh,
Okay.
PMC is awesome, awesome, Nick. As are you, my friend. PMC. He's the PMC. Petting my cat is the leader of Team Replay. Hashtag Team Replay, indeed. But it is Magic Man, Sean Grice, LakerNic, Nick Molina from our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, hoping he will be more part of our Lakers snack packs and Magic Man in the mornings going forward. Just love to hear what he has to say as far as his analysis. Petting my cat says, yes, sir. Nick, salute. We love PMC. Absolutely. We love also as well. We love Adam, Daniel, all the great crew normally that's here. Hassan's here. Great having you here. Also as well, got to make sure we give love. Absolutely. The best of love to some of our great fans as well. Tears of Joy also as well. We got to go ahead and give a big shout out to Blue Magic. Blue Magic is such a great supporter. He is a long time great supporter of the Lakers Fast Break, and we are truly appreciative of everyone. Joshua Dietz, you know how incredible you are, man. Appreciate all the love that you give to us on Facebook and Twitter. Also love that as well. So we truly appreciate all the support. We're looking for positivity, and we got some on today's show, and we're looking for more of that tomorrow. We'll see if we can do a snack pack, but definitely I'm going to be available tomorrow for the playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. We'll see what we can do about a snack pack for tomorrow, but definitely playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And of course, the best post game tomorrow night. It's a late one, folks. It's going to be around 9:30-ish on a Saturday night. You might be doing stuff with the fam. You might be going to the movies, going out. Pull over to the curb, turn on YouTube, and check us out right here tomorrow night at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great weekend, everyone, and go Lakers.